Hi guys! In this video I have a bunch of clips of me doing little easy things to make just plain pages into more interesting pages for junk journals. So I'm just gonna show you a bunch of them here, and then in the fast forwarded clips I will have a voiceover to go through that. But something that I did is just basically took very plain pages and then just did different things to them to decorate them just a little bit, to make, especially making the edges a little bit more interesting so they peek out from behind the other pages. So like really simple ways to do it, like with ribbons, with tape, with a little bit of sewing, different kinds of ribbons here. Oh, and some washi tape and sewing, and putting ribbons in different parts of the pages, and making like ruffles. And these are really always fun to have kind of poking out from the pages on the side of the journal. So keep watching if you want to see how I made them. Okay, so here I am sewing on the ruffles. Whenever I make a ruffle, I always add it on to something. Like I have to have a base for it. So here I'm just adding it to a piece of paper, like a little ripped piece of paper scrap. And then I will be able to glue it onto the edge of the paper. So to make this, I just kind of take the tool and crinkle it up before I sew through it. I don't do any fancy gathering or anything. Here's just another view of that. Yeah, so I just gather it with my fingers, about an inch by inch, or maybe centimeter by centimeter even, and then I just sew through it. And then when I get to the end, that's it. This is a clip of me just putting in a bobbin, because when you go through this, when you do a lot of journals at once, you can go through your bobbin thread pretty quick. So here's just another view of me doing that sewing. Yeah, so the tool you can get easily in big spools from the craft store, and they almost always have some on the clearance section, so definitely check that out. I don't think I've bought any tool ever at full price. So because I put this onto a piece of paper, I can just glue it right to the edge, and then like you can see, you can kind of put that off the edge of the pages, and you can have a nice textured feel to the side. Here I am making another bobbin because I ran out of thread again, but this time at least it's full. You can also do those ruffles onto a smaller piece of ribbon, and then you can just sew it straight on. So much like I'm doing it here, I'm sewing a ribbon to the edge of just a plain piece of printer paper. You can also add the ruffle on at this stage. And this is me doing it again. So you can put ribbon on different parts to have different effects. So this part I have it on just on the side. And in this one, I'm sewing it to the bottom part and then folding it up to make a little pocket and sewing up the edges. And then you have a pocket, and I have the paper behind there to give it a little bit more support. So here's another look at that. So just sew it onto the bottom of the page, flip the paper up, and then sew that onto the edges. And then here's another one. This is more of a belly band. This, you have just the edges sewn of the ribbon, and it's through the center of the paper, or the middle, either going horizontally or vertically. As long as you sew it on both edges, you can tuck something behind there. As long as it's tight enough, it won't fall out. And then just for safety, I covered that up with paper because there's a little bit of wire in that edge, so I didn't want that to poke out. So instead of sewing every piece of ribbon on, you can glue it. That's a little bit faster, and if you have the edges poking out on the paper there, like you can see there's the bottom one's kind of poking out a little bit, then that can be a different way to fold your paper. Now this is with punches, really easy, just on the corner part of a corner part of a paper, you can punch out a shape, or you can do like a corner punch to make the corner more rounded or designed, and then you have a little negative space, and then you can take those positives that you punched out, and then you can glue it on somewhere else. And then you have like a little, so there I have a little bow. I like my witches to wear bows and ribbons. I like them to be pretty girly that way. So now on this one, I'm attaching ribbon, and at the same time I'm closing up a pocket. So kind of combining those last two, or those last couple of ideas. Then this one, you just simply slap on some washi tape. Now here I'm just showing that if you have anything that you want to cover up from your recycled paper, then this is a good way to cover that up. I also do reinforce my washi tape with glue, but you don't always have to, depending on the brand of washi tape that you have. I like to do it because it just makes it a little bit stronger. And now another way to decorate plain white paper is to do some stamping. And especially if you use a light touch, which I don't do here, but if you do use a light touch, then it's really easy for the person who uses the journal to still write on it, and the handwriting that they have is still perfectly visible over the stamping. So stamping and stenciling I kind of combined here. Really easy to do both because you're using the same ink pads, so you can do both at the same time and kind of just have some fun. This is a different way of using ink. I've mentioned in another video, you can get some dead Sharpie and put the barrel into some alcohol, and that'll leach out the remaining ink. This is some actual fountain pen ink that you can splatter on, and it makes an interesting design. This is texture paste. This is actually the first time I tried the texture paste. I really liked it a lot, but it was kind of too messy to do a bunch of them at once. So I think I might do this in another video where I just focus on trying out texture paste for the first time. That brush there, you can use a brush, you can use the actual ink pad itself to do your stenciling, or you can do a different kind of brush. This, I'm just using the leftover remains of the ink that I have on that Q-tip there, and just kind of getting as much of it as I can off. And then, like I said, the kind of ghosting image that you end up getting, that's kind of nice because you can still definitely have a little bit of an effect or a design, and you can still write on it. You can still write on the paper. All right, and then I think that was it for the inking. And now this is a different kind of inking. This is just me doing some drawings on the corners of some pages. So I drew this witch shoe a while ago. So I was tracing that on there. And then I had some other pictures that I drew, and I put them on some. That's a really easy way. If you're good at drawing, or even medium at drawing, you can do that. And then this is an edge punch, which is new to me. I just got this recently, but I really like the design that it makes.